This is the Washington Times front page for Wednesday, July 23rd, 2025. Thanks for joining us. I'm George Gerbo. House Speaker Mike Johnson has sent his chamber home for its summer recess early after floor action was paralyzed by members clamoring for a vote to require the Justice Department to release its files on Jeffrey Epstein. Susan Ferriccio reports the MAGA base is convinced that a client list exists and includes the names of influential and wealthy men who should face punishment for further victimizing the girls trafficked by Epstein. Ultra-conservative members of Congress are furious that President Trump has backed away from a promise to make all the files public. Several Republicans, among them Kentucky Representative Thomas Massie, support legislation to force the release of the documents. Higher education insiders predict the nation's top universities will pass the cost of a looming endowment tax hike onto students and donors. Sean Salai reports the tax and spending legislation recently signed by President Trump will increase the tax on private university endowments' net investment gains next year. The tax increases from a flat 1.4% to a progressive levy ranging up to 8% for the nation's wealthiest schools. Academics from across the political spectrum said elite schools are more likely to cover the tab by raising tuition, cutting financial aid, and asking donors for bigger checks. The Trump administration has cut the IRS workforce by nearly 26,000 people through buyouts and firings. Stephen Dinan reports the cuts affected some of the most prominent IRS divisions, removing 27% of the tax examiners and 26% of the revenue agents, according to the Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration. Information technology is shedding 23% of its workforce, and the Management and Analysis Division will lose 28% of its staff. Fights over IRS staffing have long been proxy for broader questions about tax policy. Republicans demand a slimmer agency that they say will be less intimidating to taxpayers, and Democrats say the agency needs more people to ensure wealthy Americans are paying what they owe. China is racing to create a merger of man and machine that would give it a powerful edge in the global competition over artificial intelligence. Details on China's work have been secretive, but Ryan Lovelace reports glimpses of its research and development agenda have come into view via AI experts, Chinese government industry and strategy documents, and information provided by technologists recruited by China. China's efforts to create a cognitive merger between man and machine involve brain-computer interface research, which has the non-therapeutic goal of cognitive enhancement, according to the Georgetown University Center for Security and Emerging Technology. And finally, natural resources have offered an increasingly important fulcrum or bargaining chip in U.S. trade deals with the rest of the world. Tom Howell reports the intense focus on minerals and other coveted elements is an acknowledgement that American industry risks falling behind in military technology and other high-tech ambitions unless it gains market share and starts digging and refining at home. A U.S. Geological Survey report said imports last year comprised more than half the U.S. consumption for 46 non-fuel mineral commodities. It was 100% reliant on imports for 15 of those minerals, such as gallium and manganese. Find all of today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or the Washington Times app, and find us wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find us on social media at Wash Times for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. For the Washington Times, I'm George Gerbo.